Fun fact, I saw this movie only an after exiting out of the Avengers screening. Talk about the most diverse double feature you could ever do this year already. Detention is directed and co-written by Kahn, a very prolific music video director in today's past and present industry. He also had a debut movie released years ago called Torque, which is one of my biggest guilty pleasures. I know not a lot of people would agree, but I kind of fall into the minority crowd right there. But it stars Shanley, Caswell, and Hutcherson as these two high schoolers who lead this group that are stuck in detention, as most of their friends at Grizzly Lake High School are being stalked off by this killer called Cinderella, who's come from this movie franchise that they're aware of, but some person in their school has brought them to life and has more just plans than killing them off one by one. However, to try and figure out who it is, they must break out of detention first and avoid their sneaky principal, Principal Verge, played by Dane, which by far is one of the weirdest castings I have ever seen for a principal on screen in cinema history, without a doubt. In relation to the heavy self-awareness and the nature of this movie, the acting is extremely respectable to that degree of the film alone, as every actor in this movie, while they probably won't go too far with their performances afterwards with this film's release, they all do a really good job in relishing with their characters and their very exquisite aspects and their personalities. Hutcherson and Shanley Caswell, who I mentioned earlier, are the leads in this movie. They both do a really good job with their characters, as they play both the popular kid who everyone's friends with and then the girl who doesn't get a lot of respect and just has insane amounts of bad luck. They both do a really good job, and in relation to the supporting cast, who goes from Locke to Dane and many others, they all do a really good job just alongside them as well. To explain the tone of this movie would be very interesting, because this is a movie as if you would picture if there was an offspring from filmmaker Edgar Wright and screenwriter Diablo Cody, and if they ended up having a kid, that kid would have making it this movie, because this movie is very reminiscent of Edgar Wright's directing style, especially for how fast-paced this film is, and the film's very offbeat and weird transitions between scenes that it takes on, and the writing related to Diablo Cody, because almost all the dialogue in this movie spoken out of these characters is very odd throughout the film, and some of the lines that they just go, you go, what? However, that's what's so good about this film, because Kahn is just so self-aware of what he's doing with the movie, and he wants to do nothing else than just make this movie a non-stop entertainment fest on so many levels, which I'll break down one by one. First off, if you're someone that's very reminiscent of 90s nostalgia, you're really gonna dig a ton of the pop culture references that they make throughout this film, as a lot of movies and pop culture icons from the 90s to early 2000s are referenced throughout the film, and the way, not just in dialogue form, but from the way the actors deliver in this movie, I was laughing so hard throughout the film, especially within the first half, which I gotta add was one of the funniest first halves of a movie that I have seen in quite a while. The second aspect, in which the film is very offbeat, insane, and very weird at times from all the twists and turns that it takes on, but it's really a no-holds-barred effect in which you really just have to accept it for the insane nature that it is. This is a movie where you unexpectedly just have to shut your brain off and enjoy everything that happens, because even the filmmakers itself seem like they don't care of how little sense certain scenes make, but for the fact that they're so weird is what adds on to the comedy effect that you get throughout the film though. Now, even for how much I enjoy this movie, this is going to be one of those cult classics in the making, because it's really aimed at only certain crowds of cinema goers who have very offbeat and odd taste. Of course, I have a spot reserved for that for several different kinds of movies, and this is definitely going to line one of them, because I really had a fun time with Detention. It's very weird, offbeat, and no holds barred, as I said, in its approach, but if you can accept it for what it's doing, you're gonna have a blast with this movie. I sure did. I'm gonna give Detention 4 out of 5 stars. So if you enjoyed my review of Detention, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna be seeing this week in terms of new releases. I will be giving you guys a review of the Bob Marley documentary Marley sometime on Friday. So in the meantime, I'm talking from CaliCritic Reviews, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.